So good morning. Good morning. I think Helen's on the call this morning. Who else have we got with us? No one else just yet. Just yourself, Helen. Feel free to come on the webcam and the mic to take part in the masterclass. You're more than welcome. If you want to sit back and just be in listen only mode, that's fine as well. But love to give you a warm welcome. Thank you for hopping along to the masterclass. Just as a kind of overview, have a look at the agenda, what we've got going on. I'm going to spend about 20 minutes looking at what we're doing this week. So this week's all about leveraging blogs and also LinkedIn newsletters. So if you're new to LinkedIn newsletters, it's certainly going to give you an insight into kind of how they work and what you can use them for to ultimately generate more leads. So we'll look at how to build a successful blog strategy. So that's going to align with your business goal and your target audience. Hi, Helen. See you now. And we're going to cover topics such as choosing the right platforms, using SEO best practices, promoting your blog through other channels as well. We're going to dive into creating engaging newsletters. So what are the key elements of a successful newsletter? Subject lines, content structure, calls to action, all those sorts of things are vital. And we'll explore how to segment your audience and tailor your newsletters to build interest to that specific need. Fourthly, we're going to look at sharing best practice and tips for promoting that blog post and newsletter content on the LinkedIn platform. The LinkedIn platform is kind of my number one social media network that I tend to go to. So that's what I stick with. And then we're going to discuss how to measure and optimize that. Any marketing that you do, it's always good to test, measure, to understand where you're going wrong, where you're winning, so you can focus your energies into that. But feel free to introduce yourself, Helen. Great to have you on the call. Tell us a little bit more about you. Don't think we've got any audio. We can let's have a look at the chat. Just trying to find the audio. Yes, there's a little arrow at the bottom of the microphone, which you can choose the mic that you're using. I'll let you play around with that and try and crack on with the workshop, because this is going live to LinkedIn as well. So we've got another. Just wait for a few more people to hop on the call this morning. We've got Alexa Noble. Feel free to come on, Alexa. Don't be scared. We're all in this together. Have you got audio, Alexa?
I have.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Are you still involved with UW?
Of course.
Yeah. How's it going?
Really well. Yeah. Well, never as fast as you like, but no, it's good.
Great. Excellent. Well, great to have you on the call. I've just gone through a bit of an agenda, but basically we've got 20 minutes of me kind of nattering on and showing some things, and then we're just going to throw it out, open Q&A, and a bit of learning from one another, really. That's the kind of on the agenda. I'm going to just bring up a slideshow. This is going live to LinkedIn, just so you're aware. I also stream it live to YouTube as well. I think Helen's, how are you getting on with your audio, Helen? Are you still struggling? Yeah, we can't hear you. Yeah, you might have to hop out the call and hop back in. Sometimes that solves it, but okay. So yeah, for Alexa's benefit, that's the agenda that we're just going to run through. Let's kick off. So just going to introduce myself. I'm your host, Alex, the founder of Leadeth.io. Leadeth.io is a powerful lead generation agency, and we exist to small business owners. That's kind of the key focus here, to achieve their sales goals through automating their lead generation in LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the primary platform that I work with. So let's get started. I love to go through these basic marketing models. You may have come across these before. The funnel model, this is a classic model that describes the customer journey from that first touch point all the way through to a purchase and beyond. And it's called the funnel because, as you can see, there's a large number of different stages, but in the top of that funnel, a huge amount goes into that funnel. And then slowly we have the interest stage. Even less people consider you, then even less people could purchase from you. And then you've got that little retention chunk where you retain those clients. And that's what it's all about. When we talk about lead generation, it's all about, you know, getting yourself out there, making sure there's awareness when people kind of become aware of your brand, and then they move through this funnel. So there's another model, which is a bit more a modernized version. It's called the flywheel effect. And the flywheel effect is kind of it just emphasizes the ongoing relationship with the customer. So you've got, again, you attract them. It's a little bit like that awareness section. You engage with them, you delight the customer, and then they become your raving fans. You know, they're very loyal to you, and they spread the word about your brand, and they attract more clients to you. So there's a couple of models that I like to start with. Where does Leadeth fit in with all of this? Just to give you a bit of an overview. So recently, Leadeth's been probably about 3 years old now. I've gone from a software service subscription business model all the way through to a done for you service now. So a lot of people have been coming to me saying, "Yep, that's all very good and stuff, but haven't got the time to implement it or do it all myself. So can you do it for me?" So this is a framework that I've created, and it's taking people from, you know, doing very little on LinkedIn to achieving genuine sales, more appointments, and they're leveraging their time better because all this is taken care of. We're using automation quite heavily. So the key parts to it: number one, we look at the target audience. Who is your target audience? We look at, you know, how to kind of understand who your ideal clients are and how we can search for those clients. And then we look at personal profile priming. So that's optimizing that personal profile on LinkedIn so it speaks to that target audience. So when that perfect buyer comes to your LinkedIn profile, they already know what you're about, and there's just clarity there. The next stage, which I love, is LinkedIn outreach automation. Again, we're leveraging software to kind of automate that whole process on LinkedIn. And then we've got email outreach, which is a natural bolt on to that LinkedIn strategy to follow up with a courteous email. Video content marketing is a little bit different, but LinkedIn is a very powerful platform when you start to use video and engage with your clients using video. So we film loads of video, we add subtitles, chop it up into 13 weeks, and that just gets recycled again and again. And that creates a bit of engagement. It puts you as the kind of industry leader of your field, a bit of an influencer, to get more interested into your services and products. And then kind of what cements that is the appointment setting bit. And that's where we look, I use Calendly for a lot of what I do, setting up automations on the back of Calendly, just making sure that people have a pleasant journey from start to finish. And, you know, they turn up for meetings, they have the reminders and things like that. So incorporating in that as a CRM. So all of the previous masterclasses, we've actually focused on each element of these. So have a look on the replays if you're interested in any of those elements where we kind of break them down in a bit more detail. Here's a quick stat: 13% more likely to achieve a positive ROA on their marketing efforts. So this statistic was all about blogging and newsletters, which is the subject we're looking at today. They're not new concepts. They've been around in the world of marketing for a number of years, but they're actually kind of two of the most effective ways to generate leads and to grow your business online. And the recent survey there, it went out to companies that prioritized blogging, and it said that they were 13% more likely to achieve a positive ROI on their marketing efforts. And when it comes to newsletters, some people have shown that, you know, you can receive a really monstrous figure in terms of ROI, a very effective tool, not to be forgot about in your marketing mix. So whether you're new to blogging or you're new to newsletters, or you're just looking to kind of take your next efforts to the next level up, whatever that might be, you're in the right place. It's what we're going to discuss today. And hopefully in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll uncover some strategies and tactics that's really going to help you to kind of unlock this tool for lead generation and growth. I'll just see if there's any more messages in the chat, because I think, Helen's still struggling. Feel free to type in the chat, Helen. I'll try and keep an eye on it here. But if you want to contribute in the group for now via chat, that's great. And Alexa, yeah, if you want to pop in on anything, just pop your hand up or whatever. So yeah, where do we start? It's all about building that strategy. So now we've covered the importance of it for generating leads for your business. Let's dive into how to create a blog strategy that is going to align with your business goals and your target audience. And a well-executed blog strategy, it's really going to help you to kind of position yourself as a brand, as a thought leader in your industry, and that's in turn going to drive traffic to your website and ultimately generate more leads. One thing to remember, obviously, if you're starting to drive that traffic to your website, it's a vital idea to have a website that's already converting pretty well as well. It's pointless in throwing thousands and thousands of extra clicks to your website if it's not converting. So think about that conversion process and what the next step is, and is it has it been well thought out and well planned? Because otherwise, all your marketing efforts are just kind of in vain if you're not if you've not got a decent conversion currently on your website. So from start to finish, can someone get the information they need from you? The first step in building that successful blog strategy is choosing the right topics, and you'll want to create content that's relevant. It's also got to be valuable to your audience, because they're going to be searching for various topics, and they're going to be looking at things to get answers, basically the problems that they're hitting in business. I'm not sure which hat you've got on today, Alexa, but feel free to share what are some of the typical problems or pain points that your customers might be experiencing at the moment.
I guess with my UW business, most people don't realize what's going on in terms of pricing.
Yeah.
Don't really understand how the government have placed pricing, so don't understand what they are going to really pay or what it means to them. So it's just a mess. A lot of people think they can't switch. They think they're stuck. They think there's no savings to be made. So those are the kind of things. Or how do they get their energy usage down? How do they save money? You know, those are things people search for. How do you make extra income? What can I do? Because I mean, they are paying a lot more than they used to. Generally, we all are in food, not just energy, but food, and it's you know, life. So it's those sort of questions.
On the weekly shop, the milk has shot up to £1.62 or whatever for 4 pints.
I did £141 in Aldi at the weekend. I'm like, I've never spent £141 in Aldi, for goodness sake. But
were you buying other things or?
No, I didn't think I was particularly, but clearly, got a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah. It's incredible. I mean, they're the sort of things, and certainly there's some really good tools out there. Google Trends is one of the ones I've used in the past. It gives you kind of topics that are trending. BuzzSumo, that's BuzzSumo, is another tool that people use to identify popular trends. And then you've also got, and once you've got your chosen topic, you need to kind of optimize that blog post and have a bit of a strategy around keywords that you might be using, that people would be searching for, because it's the keywords that are going to help people to find that blog post. And this is kind of applies to both LinkedIn articles and posts, because they all have an algorithm that they sit in. So when you strategically use those keywords throughout that content, including the title, descriptions, and any headings within that content, that's going to make sure you're going to be found for those keywords. So finally, it's important to kind of promote those blogs in other places through various channels. Obviously, you've got LinkedIn newsletters is a great way to promote. If you've already got that content, you're creating it, push it out on LinkedIn, because you might have a network of, well over 2,000 connections or more. It's a great way to get it out there. Your website is a great channel as well, because that website and that marketing funnel is the consider point. That's where people are going from aware of your brand to actually considering you as someone to do business with. So that's another great place. We did a session probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago on AI. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. That is an incredible tool. If you're kind of struggling for subjects or headlines or what to write this blog article about, you can actually go out to tools like ChatGPT. I'll do a quick demo, see if it logs me in. Obviously, the servers are quite in high demand, often a lot of the times. Log into ChatGPT. Have any of you guys used AI at all to help with that kind of process? Oh, typically it's not working. It's in very high demand, but basically what it is artificial intelligence. You can actually train it's basically a text box that comes up, and you can say, hey, I'm writing a blog post on this particular subject. Please, can you give me some ideas and ask me some questions about my target audience, or anything how I can make it more relevant to that audience. And then it will literally spit out in seconds some really good headline options, some good titles for it. It really takes all the heavy lifting out. So you can then go through and think, yeah, I like that bit. I like that bit. We'll use that. So that's a really powerful tool. If you've not used it yet, ChatGPT, Google it. I can't get onto it at the moment. It's because it's in so high demand. You have to get in really early in the morning for it to work, but it's been down today. So if you can get onto that, it certainly will serve you well in that ideation process of getting those ideas and moving on with it. So creating engaging newsletters, there's obviously graphics, kind of a hero image is vital. So think about, having something relevant that's going to that your audience are going to pick up on. That kind of hero image is obviously quite vital. A lot of people will get drawn into the article because of that image. So it's important to choose that carefully and kind of reveal something about the article in the image. So make sure it's kind of related. Newsletters are a great way to kind of keep in touch with an existing audience as well. So it's all about providing value. Everything we do in marketing is about adding value, and this is a great way to do it. So key elements within your newsletter or blog title. The first thing to consider is the subject line. That's going to be a vital element. The content structure. So that's how you're going to break it down into 3 sections, maybe with a subheading. And then the vital thing, which even a lot of people, I've been doing websites for kind of 8 or 9 years now, and the amount of sites I go to, and I still don't see the call to action, the CTA. Always include that call to action, because it's kind of the next step that people need to take. So it's all good and well reading a 3 or 4 minute blog article, but then you get to the end and you're like, okay, now what? So it's a wasted opportunity if you're not sending them to a more information or a free PDF, or to book a call with you so you can talk more about it. So those call to actions, it's vital that they're placed throughout the content. I tend to do a call to action after each of the subheading sections. That's just best practice. So plenty of calls to action, because obviously readers sometimes might switch off quite early on in their reading. They might not want to read any further, but if you get a call to action in there before they read on, then that can help. Segmenting the audience. Segmenting the audience is all about dividing that audience into different groups based on their specific needs or interests, or how active they are. So a lot of system tools. So if you're sending out a newsletter via email using something like MailChimp, or a third-party tool that pushes out the emails, that will give you a lot of data back, and you can actually start to kind of tailor that content to those that are more active than those that aren't. So that's a really, really good tip that I learned quite early on, because obviously you could send a newsletter out and there could be 3 different areas within that newsletter that are gauging interest. It might be from what Lex is doing, you might have the opportunity side of the business just different to the actual saving money side of the business, and those that are more interested in the opportunity, you can then start to target them with more content around the opportunity, as opposed to the saving the money on the bills. So when you start to kind of segment the audience and group them up, that's going to help you to push content more specifically to that audience. So tailoring your content, and once you've segmented them, obviously we can push different types of content to different types of audiences. So for example, it could be more articles. It could be a video, might be more relevant to that audience, that target audience. Some people might like to see infographics and stats and more kind of visually appealing content as well. So depending on what that audience responds to, you can start to test and then measure, put out a video, see what happens to a video, see what sort of a short video, 60-second video it could be. And it goes with any kind of social media, this. So in conclusion, those are the key elements that you need to be kind of mindful of when you're building out that content. So just remember, it's all about adding value. Every kind of bit of content you're producing, it's add value. How can I add value to this person? And then that tends to work quite well. So when we talk about promoting the content on LinkedIn, there's in today's kind of social media platforms, a great tool for business to kind of promote that content to a wider audience. And I talk a lot about LinkedIn. I think there are 840 million users worldwide, but it's predominantly a B2B business network. So if that is your target market, then LinkedIn could be a really good one for that. So think about your target market, and is the majority of that target market on that platform. Once you've kind of identified which platform is kind of the most suitable for you, then it's all about kind of promoting those blog posts and newsletters using the built-in features of the network, and then encouraging people to repost that content. You can share that content into various channels, various pages that you've got, and you can experiment with different types of posts. So it could be repurposing that content differently to see how it might resonate with your audience. And the other important aspect of promoting your content is that all these social networks, you can actually use what we call hashtags. So the hashtag could be something relevant to your content. So and it's also something that somebody might search for as well, which is pretty cool. So you can get found by more searches if you include those hashtags. So hashtags, always include those hashtags at the end of that content or post. I tend to do about 4 or 5 is adequate. Obviously, Twitter, you might get away with a few more hashtags if you're using Twitter a lot to get that post found. So those tags are going to help you, and obviously you can target individual people if your post is talking about a person. Maybe you've got an ambassador or someone like that who's raving about what you do, and you can tag them in. That's obviously going to attract more people as well. So using kind of relevant people or companies is obviously going to extend your reach. When you engage with the audience, we do that through commenting. So if somebody's left a comment, if you can get back with another comment back, that'd be great. They say there's a magic number of 10 words or more, because then that starts to get triggered in the algorithm. So when you comment back with a nice juicy 10 word more comment, that's going to further promote your post even further in certainly in LinkedIn. So yeah, consider leveraging LinkedIn advertising. So that's basically where you can do paid ads on LinkedIn. And then there's lots of ways to, if you've got a great bit of content and it's already got a bit of traction, there's quite a few likes, you can further push it out to an audience of your choosing. So you can say, push this content out to all my network, push it out to what we say a lookalike audience. So that's where you upload all your contacts, and LinkedIn does its calculations and says, these million people are very similar to your audience, and they would really benefit from your paid advertisement. So those sponsored ads can be quite effective. Last week's session was all about kind of sponsored ads. And the 5th step in this whole process is all about testing and measuring. So think about key metrics that you need to be measuring. Is it kind of the number of clicks or the number of bookings? What is the overall outcome of this project or this bit of marketing that you're putting out there? When you start to measure it, obviously, if you're doing it on a regularly monthly basis, you can start to highlight these trends, because you'll be able to start seeing, right, this particular article got a 2-fold, views or reads and double the engagement. So let's do a similar one to that. And you can actually improve on articles you've already made. It could be you've got a lot of older content that you just can revitalize it a bit more, and that helps push that trend out to more people. So yeah, it's all about how to kind of think about what are the KPIs that you need to be measuring that are going to make an impact here. Because there's nothing worse than just putting something out there for the sake of it, forgetting about it, and just hoping that you'll get a bit more traffic, because it doesn't work like that. So yeah, so there's some kind of overview top tips on blogs. I'm just going to dive into the LinkedIn platform just to show you, if you're not familiar, where to do it on the LinkedIn platform. So LinkedIn has something called a creator mode. So if you're an active contributor to the LinkedIn platform, you'll get invited to something called LinkedIn creator mode. And when you turn that creator mode on, you can then start to add a few more things around your profile. But ultimately, when you go to write an article, At LinkedIn, you've got an option that comes up. You can choose write an article. That's where you go to start writing those articles that are going to stick around forever. It's not like a post that just is, a little bit fleeting. So for me, if I was doing it, I'd do it off my personal back, because that's where my following is, off my personal profile. If you're doing it on a company profile, you actually need at least 100 people to be liking your company page before you can actually do that. But once you've turned on the creator mode in LinkedIn, it's a fairly straightforward operation. I think it's in the menus. You can just turn on creator mode. Then you'll have the access to create a blog post. So for me, this one will come up here, a newsletter, but you can create your own newsletter, whatever it is it's about. And then you can add that headline in, upload an image, and start going into some of the text down here. And obviously, as we say, including @ to mention and tag people, that's always quite helpful as well. And publish it. That goes out to your network. You'll also get some options which will say, where do you want this article published as well. So you can further invite people to join your newsletter. They'll see it coming up in searches. They can accept it, and they'll see you set the frequency of how often you want the newsletters to go out in LinkedIn as well. So more people will be getting your content. So yeah, that's kind of a quick overview of what to do, where to do. Any questions from the floor? Go on, Alexa.
Do you always put your hashtags at the end as kind of a list, or do you ever hashtag within the blog post itself?
Yeah, if I was referring to hashtags and it was part of the post, then yeah, I would include them in. But if it's purely just to gain a bit more traffic, then I dump them at the bottom. That's kind of what I've always done. But yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm not sure how the algorithm works in terms of putting them further in the post or splitting them up, whether that makes a difference. But there might be some Google articles around that, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we go. That's what's kind of biggest takeaways from that section this morning. Anything stand out? Anything that you've learnt?
I've learned loads.
Great.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. Like just splitting it out and where to find the ideas about what to writing about stuff that's of value to other people. So actually finding what they're looking for is obviously really, really, really key. Not what I'm interested in, it's what they're interested in. So that was brilliant. Just all of it, just nicely set out so we can easily, start creating those posts, because it's just time, isn't it? I just struggle with, all right, everybody, what do we do next? How many more things have I got to do before I can even, and being creative, like thinking about that, having the time to be creative, when probably, like, again, Helen's sort of smiling there, so I think she's probably on the page. It's, as an entrepreneur, especially if you've got multiple businesses, I've got a list a mile long, properties that are completing, tenants that have moved out, stuff that I've got to do, and my UW business, and then I've got to sit here and think about writing a lovely creative post.
Yeah. They say my business coach, Richard, he talks about TNADing it, TNAD. So T is all about you test it, you just put it out there, test it. Then N is you nail it, so you actually do it really efficiently. And then the A bit comes in, that's automate it. So if there's a way you can automate all that you've just done, that's what you do. And then the D is the delegate. So that's when you start to build up a team to kind of do it all for you. But it's certain that content creation stuff, it's quite key, and it's kind of, I always feel it's best for it to come from you, and if you can actually delegate the posting of it, or the commenting of it, or the generation of an image around it, and someone else can support you in that role. And these days you can find people in Nigeria for full time for about £400 a month, which is, for you to employ someone in that role and train them up, it would take you a long time. So there are ways to start to look at that, even on a really tight budget. Yeah. Great. Anything from you, Helen? Any key takeaways? You're good. Yeah, shame we couldn't have your voice on the call this morning, but yeah. So, I mean, that kind of concludes the masterclass this morning. So happy to stick around for 5 minutes if you guys need to talk or chat further. The typical next step or the call to action that I always put in is one-to-one strategy call. You can head over to my website. That's leadeth.io. I'll pop it in the chat, www.leadeth.io/strategy. The purpose of those strategy calls is purely just to get to know you a bit better, and just see if any of my kind of lead generation software tools might be able to help you to kind of automate some of your lead gen processes around what you're doing in LinkedIn. So it's just an opportunity to get to know you a bit better and have a focused strategy around your business, what you're doing, and see if I can maybe help in some of those areas. So I'll pop the link in the chat there if you want to hop on a call. That's a one-to-one call with me. But yeah, thank you, ladies, for joining me today. And I can't remember what's on the agenda for the next session. This is week 11. So if you head over to the masterclass page on the website, leadeth.io/masterclass, that will give you kind of the roundup of what's next. There's 2 weeks left, and then we come back to the top and we start working through the content and just improve. Each week we go back through it. We're just improving on it and getting it better and better. But great to have you guys with us. And yeah, thanks for contributing and being a part of it.
Yeah, thank you. It was really, really good, Alex.
Good to see you, Alexa. Thanks, Helen.
Have a great day, everyone.